Hey guys, Marshall from Limited Resources, and we're doing some M14 draft. As you can see, it is now on Magic Online, and got quite a few good cards here for us to take a look at, although we don't have that much time to do that. Our rare is Silence, which is kind of sad because it's not very good. I'm just going to take the shock here, I think. It's a removal spell. I like Spore Mound quite a bit. I even like Wall of Swords, kind of interesting. Death Gaze Cockatrice has been impressive to me, but we'll just go with the simple pick with the removal spell here. Ooh, lots of stuff here. So Marauding Maulhorn definitely stands out as a really solid card here. There's also, though, an Opportunity. That's hard to turn down. Colonian Tusker is a card I like a lot. I think it's really, really good. And I like being in green as well. No idea what happened. Okay. Enough of that. I wanted to use the beta. I've been enjoying it, but it has still had its stability issues, and it seemed to just be... I seem to miss multiple picks per draft, and as you can see, we missed here. Now, we did get kind of lucky. We got one of the good cards from that pack of Claustrophobia. Perhaps not the best card in the pack by a stretch, but a good card. Our next pick that we missed as well, though, unfortunately, was not a great card. With Plummet. So we're just going to have to kind of power through here and see what we come up with. I'm just going to keep my options open at this point. I'm going to take a Giant Spider here. I just think it's the best card in the pack. This is an interesting one, but kind of requires some trickery, and plus it's 7 mana. Not great by any stretch. None of these are very good at all. So I'm just going to take the best card. All right, what have we? Well, there's a Fire Shrieker, which I actually like a lot. It's pretty straightforward, but I've noticed that aggressive decks can take good advantage of this, and even slower decks can sometimes, because the board can get stalled out pretty easily, and you can use Fire Shrieker pretty effectively. Other cards in this pack, well, there's a Pitchburn Devils. I like it. It's about the only other card I really like. Griffin Sentinel's fine. Deprivation's fine. Ranger Skyle, fine. But I'm just going to take the Fire Shrieker here. All right, couple of options. I like both of the blue cards up here. The Time Ebb and the Divination are cards I both really like and would run pretty actively. Giant Growth, though, is probably the pick here. It's just the most straightforward good card. It's cheapest. We might be in green, so we're going to take it for now and kind of keep our eye on how things are going otherwise. All right, so green's open. We're going to slam this Rumbling Baloth. That's a really nice pickup. And I like another 4-drop here with Hunt the Weak. Blood Baron's just reasonable, Negate's reasonable. The rest of these are either sideboard or just garbage. And so, but Hunt the Weak's actually a tempo plus removal spell. It's actually okay. And that Spore Mound that we opened came back. That's a card I've really been impressed with, and I'm definitely going to take it here. Green plus Fire Shrieker is kind of sweet too. Now, we actually don't really have a second color yet. Wow, an Advocate of the Beast now too? Absolutely. Yeah, so green is just completely wide open at this point in the draft. And we're just going to keep hammering away on it here. Now, I like our backup plan, Claustrophobia or Shock, but I also like the fact that we're just open. Like, if we open, like, maybe a Bomb in white, we can just take it. None of these are good, so I'll take the best card out of the bunch in my opinion, which is Siege Mastodon. Yeah, I've been enjoying the beta client lately, but it's just tough. It does crash out, and I feel like I average like at least a pick per draft that I just have to miss out on, and that's just kind of unacceptable. I was going to try it again for the M14 pre-release that we're doing here, but yeah, I think we just have to stick with version 3 for the time being. I have to say, though, that when it works, I've been pretty impressed by it lately. It seems to have turned a corner. Definitely going to take Lay of the Land over that 4/6. But, yeah, I'm still super comfortable in good old V3. I mean. All right. So, oops. So we've got some stuff. Oh, it's funny because Advocate of the Beast, there's very few beasts around, and we actually happen to have one here, so that's nice. Probably would have had an opportunity instead of this Claustrophobia. I might have just taken the Marauding Maulhorn. He's really good, and I already had a shock, so it wasn't like a big stretch for me to do that. Okay, what did we get? Well, there's a Lifebane zombie. He's really good. A 3/1 with Intimidate for 3 mana is pretty tough to come by. I mean, that's an evasive 3-drop with 3 power. That's really good. And when he enters the battlefield, you get to nab a green or white creature card from your opponent's hand. And that's whatever. You know, I mean, you're going to hit probably more often than you think, but it's still not amazing. Flames of the Firebrand, one of the best uncommons in the set, and it probably is going to be my pick here. Messenger Drake certainly catches my eye here as well. The real question is if I want Lifebane Zombie or if I want the Flames of the Firebrand. I think I'm going to take the Lifebane Zombie because it's a rare and it's probably worth a bunch of tickets right now, and it's also still just really good. So I'm just going to play it safe and try to maybe sell that thing off or whatever. Okay, some more good stuff here. If we want to kind of stick on the black plan, we have... All right, be right back. Okay, Panic Pick. Of course, there was a Deadly Recluse that I saw, which I'd rather have than any of this stuff. Now I have a tough choice. I don't know what was in that pack. This is just frustrating at this point. Maybe there's just a bunch of people on, or maybe it's something with me. I'm not really sure. But it looks like we ended up with Mark of the Vampire out of that pack, which I guess we could have done worse there too. From this pick, it's between Briarpack Alpha and Deadly Recluse. Man, Green Doomblade is one of the best commons floating around in my opinion. I just think this card overperforms at every time it's cast, but Briarpack Alpha is really tough to turn down. I'm going to take the Briarpack Alpha. It's just a 2-for-1 too often. Like, it's just that simple. We'll keep the green 5-drops going with our Spore Mound, and now we'll add a Woodborn Behemoth. This guy's awesome. Giant Growth is a close contender for it. Nightwing Shade's a little better than it used to be, but still, I'm not in love with it. All right, so not much here. We could just take a Brindleboar. We could take a 9 zombie, which can do a little bit of damage later in the game. Yeah, I'll take this 9 zombie. We're a little low on 2s anyway. All right, still not much for us. I think I'm just going to take this Mind Rod. Otherwise, it's like cut a short cutter, take a Brindleboar. Okay, interesting stuff here. There's a big 7-drop or a Mana Fixer for us at 3. If we want to splash right now, our splash would be red, and we have an easy one. But also, you know, you can pick up, sometimes you just pick up a Pacifism early in the next pack, and you can get a splash off Lay of the Land and Verdant Haven. Groundshaker Sliver is pretty sweet, but we already kind of have enough beef. I think we're okay on the beef department, so I'm going to take the Haven here. None of these are very exciting. I'll take a Naturalize so we can have it in the sideboard, I guess. Jeez, that's really late for that guy. That guy's good. So is Mana Weft Swiver, though, and I don't know. Actually, there is a chance we actually veer over into blue. It's not likely, but with a Trained Condor and a Claustrophobia definitely puts up a fight versus a Lifebane Zombie, a 9 zombie, and a Mark. I'll take it, just in case blue ends up being more open. Take this Altars Reap pretty easily. None of these are good. I'll just take the Glade Cover Scout. And I'll take a cancel in case we do end up in blue. And hey, there's that Brindleboar back. So we know that we're in green. I could have had a Deadly Recluse. Man, I want that Doomblade in here, that green one. So let's see what this last pack gives us. This has been a weird draft. Missing multiple picks makes it tough to keep things coherent, but hopefully we can find a deck here. Certainly like our top end quite a bit. Okay. Couple of picks possible. There's a Siphon Sliver, which is just okay. It's a 2/2 with lifelink. It gives your other slivers lifelink. I don't think we have any right now, though. That's if we want to stay in black. But I think that like between Siphon Sliver and Rootwalla, I just like Rootwalla a lot better. It gets through a lot of stuff, and it's just huge. The other choice is an Elvish Mystic. It helps shore up our early game and gets us to these big beefers a little sooner, but I just think Rootwalla is good enough on its own that we want to take it. Now the decision is Witchstalker or Rootwalla. And I love Rootwalla, but I think Witchstalker's really good on its own. Just a 3/3 for 3 is pretty sweet, and the fact that it has hexproof is excellent. If we do end up in black, we can run this mark a lot better. And yeah, so we'll take it. He's good. Predatory Sliver. There's also a Child of Night. There's a Bone Scythe Slither, which is a powerful card, but pretty far away from us. Blightcaster. I don't think we're not going to be running that. I don't think we're going to be in blue at this point. Those first few picks didn't really hook us up. So it's Predatory Sliver or Child of Night. I tend to like Sliver a little bit better. I just prefer the 2/2 over the 2/1. It's also a little easier to cast because we're going to be heavier in green. But sometimes that life gain can be really important. I'll take the Sliver in case we pick up another one or something. Yeah, there it is right there. There's also, though, a Ring Flesh. I mean, I see the opportunity, but we're not. That ship has sailed, so we're not doing that. We might splash this, but probably won't. I'm just going to take another Sliver. I love these early drops, and I love getting this stuff built up. Ooh, there we go. There's this guy, too, but, man, this is the one that I want. I can't describe how much... We've always called him the Green Doomblade, always gets his man on the show, but this guy has been so good. Super impressed by him. I think this is a pretty easy pickup of this Thorncaster Sliver. It gives us another 5-drop, and we can splash Shock and that pretty easily off of Lay of the Land and Verdant Haven. Also, there's not a whole lot else going here. There's a Quag Sickness. I mean, we could take it. I just feel like we're nearly mono green. If I take the Quag Sickness, then I would get the Shock out of here. That would get Lay of the Land and Verdant Haven out of here, so we could free up some slots for more black cards. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll keep it simple. Giant Spider or another Advocate of the Beast. Well, we've got a Plummet, a Deadly Recluse, and a Giant Spider already to deal with flyers. Not too bad. Advocate's a solid pickup here. But unfortunately, like I mentioned before, like there's this beast, and there's just not that many other. This is a wolf. This is an elemental. This is like a fungus or something. This guy's a wolf. This is a lizard. This isn't a beast itself, so it's not like you get 2 of them and they get going. Even Brindleboar's a boar. So it's just a question of a 2 or a 3 here. I guess I'll take the Giant Spider here. Tenacious D, what do you do again? When you die, I can get you back. Yeah, that's just too... Man, I liked Reassembling Skeleton a lot, but I don't like this one nearly as much. I guess we could combo it off with 9 Zombie. For 4 mana, we can drain them for 1 every turn. Ugh, it's not very good. I think I'm just going to take this Ranger's Guile. Festering Newt can do some things too. It's good versus some decks and pretty bad against all the rest of the decks. Blur Sliver, I guess. Dawnstrike Paladin, I think we have enough beef to fight through that okay. This is just a marginal trick for some deck. This guy's okay, but doesn't really kill us that bad. We'll just take the Blur Sliver here. Not much going on. Show of Valor, I guess, just so we can get people. I'm actually going to take this Academy Raider. We don't need another Verdant Haven, and we can't actually block this. Pretty annoying. It's an interesting pick. Now that we have a Blur Sliver and the Shock, if we would have not taken the Quag Sickness, we could have splashed some pretty nice slivers. I mean... Blur plus the Battle and the double Predatory can kind of start to get you, but I'm not that worried about it, really. I think I'd rather play this deck anyway and just cut this thing out and cut this thing out and find something else to put in there. Duress? I'm actually going to take this Duress. Normally I just take Dawnstrike Paladin just because it's a creature and I'd rather not face it at some point, but Duress, I think, is actually the pick here, and the reason why is because we passed at least 2 opportunities, And it would be nice to have, if we fight against a deck that's running those, to have a way to just get that thing out of their hand. A lot of times when people have that card opportunity in their hand, they'll completely craft the board and the game around the fact that they can reload basically their entire hand at some point during the game. And that means that they'll trade off their guys. They'll even make suboptimal trades a lot of the time. Just let you do stuff that just says, okay, let's just trade cards, because they know they're just going to bury you later. And if you take that away from them, you can get them. All right, so we've got 2 Lay of the Lands. Now these are worth noting here. But let's see what else. Let's see what we got. We've got a Plummet that we could run in the main if we wanted. You're in. It's a maybe. It's definitely in. That's also a maybe. In, and in. All right, so those are our green cards. That puts us at 15. If we go with black, we've got mark that one of those, this thing. Or we're going to run Fire Shrieker no matter what, I think. So that's what our deck would look like, but we're a couple of playables short. So we can either splash or we can, we can run the Plummet. We can run the Mind Rot main, or we can run the Brindlebore, something along those lines. Alternatively, we can splash for Shock. But Shock's not that great in this format. There's some decks that it can get, but for the most part, if it was a Doom, like an off-color type, like if it was a Pacifism, then I would do it. I would run a Lay of the Land or 2, run a Plains in there, and just get a Pacifism in my build here. But as it sits, I'm not. Unfortunately, Trained Condor, very good in our deck, but Cancel and Claustrophobia, double blue means we can't splash them at all. And then while we have a Planar Cleansing, which is one of the more powerful cards around just in terms of raw power, we don't have anything to back it up. Mastodon, Show of Valor, Soulmender, none of them are worth it. So I think this is going to be our deck here. We've got a little bit of card draw here, which I like with the Ultra's Reap, just to help keep things moving along. We've got a little card advantage with Mind Rot too, that is not a card I love to main deck, but it's okay. And then we've got a few tricks to get them. Ranger Skyle plus this can just end the game, right? Like you nailed it. You cast this card. Maybe even if you whiff, you start hitting them because they're not in black. And then like they have that one removal spell that they need, and then you Ranger Skyle, then the game's just over. So I like that as a clock. I like Witch Stalker plus Mark of the Vampire quite a bit. That's a nice little combo there. And then we've got like Advocate of the Beast plus Rumbling Baloth just for value or whatever. Our curve's okay, a lot of 4s, but if our curve looked like this, we'd probably be happy, so it's a little cheaper than that, so it's fine. Okay, so let's add some lands. It wants to do 12 and 5, which is a little extreme, I think. I think we can get away with just 10-7 here. The cards that we need are double green 4 at the top. This one and this one are a little bit, but we've got 10. It's not like we're not running any here. And then 9 zombie on turn 2 is kind of whatever. Ultra's Reap is a card you're going to play down here, maybe even here anyway. Mind Rot probably here anyway as well. So I think we're going to be okay here with 10-7. We could replace like one of these with a Lay of the Land as well. That way we have 9 green sources to cast Lay of the Land, and then that can get whatever else we need. We're only running actual 16 lands in that case, but the hands that we can't keep are the ones that we get all swamps and a Lay of the Land, where that's the time we wish it was a forest. Every other time it gets a land out of your deck and it helps smooth out so you can hit this or this on turn 3 or whatever. I think this is not an unreasonable play either. Another thing we could do is we could run 18 lands or 17 lands plus Lay of the Land, which is pretty nice too. Like we could do this and basically ensure that we have good mana every single game for the most part, but we need to make a cut here. And I don't mind it. We've got some sketchy stuff in here, like the Plummet with 2 Giant Spiders and a Deadly Recluse is like pretty weak. That's a card we could cut pretty easily. Why don't we try this? All right, we'll see what this is. I haven't actually played green-black as a combo yet in M14. I'm curious to see what it does.